All right, so I want you to meet Kevin. Kevin's 27, works in accounting, plays badminton every Sunday, and, well, he's been trying to fix his sleep schedule for so long that at this point it basically counts as a long term relationship. Now, Kevin isn't particularly anxious or dramatic. He's just a regular guy attempting to operate a modern human life using, approximately the same ancient brain as the rest of us. So one afternoon, Kevin leaves work and he's just walking home. He's thinking about dinner, wondering if buying that expensive sports equipment is actually going to improve his game, and quietly debating if adulthood is literally just moving deadlines around until you retire. And then, something happens. He trips on the sidewalk. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't dramatic. We're not talking movie-level disaster here. It's just a clumsy, incredibly uncomfortable half-second where his body completely forgets how to look intentional. And he recovers almost immediately. Nobody reacts, literally nothing changes in the physical world. But inside Kevin's head, an entire civilization completely collapses. His brain instantly shifts into overdrive and starts running these frantic, panicked calculations. Everybody saw that. People definitely noticed. Someone probably recorded it. He's convinced his coworkers are going to hear about it, that this event is going to become a core part of his identity. Future historians might even write about it. And for the next 20 minutes, Kevin just keeps replaying the moment. He remembers it again later that night, then while brushing his teeth, then while staring at the ceiling trying to sleep. Because as it turns out, embarrassment is one of the very few things in life that comes with unlimited cloud storage. And this brilliantly illustrates what's actually happening here. Imagine a massive, glowing yellow circle. That represents absolutely everyone Kevin is certain just witnessed his catastrophic sidewalk stumble. In his head, the entire street was locked onto his exact coordinates. But then the actual reality of the situation hits, and it's actually just this tiny microscopic white sliver. The weird, strange truth of it all is that absolutely nobody cared. 0 people. That woman walking nearby, she was deep in a mental debate about what to eat for dinner. The student on the corner was actively negotiating with an overdue assignment. Someone else walking past was literally just cringing at something embarrassing they did 5 years ago. Kevin's disaster existed entirely 100% inside Kevin's own mind. And this right here is where things get really fascinating, because Kevin has just experienced one of the most common and frankly, kind of weirdest psychological phenomena we've ever discovered. Okay, let's dive into this. It's called the spotlight effect. Basically, it's this incredibly persistent psychological bias where we humans consistently overestimate how much other people are noticing us. Your brain essentially behaves as if there is a giant, glowing spotlight tracking your every single move. Every mistake you make feels incredibly visible. Every awkward sentence you stumble through feels absolutely permanent. Every tiny little social failure feels like breaking news being broadcast to the whole world. But you have to ask, why on earth does our brain do this to us? Well, part of the answer is just pure psychology. Think about it like this. Your brain only experiences reality from one single fixed location, right inside your own head. You hear your own thoughts. You feel the absolute heat of your own embarrassment. You replay your own mistakes. You basically experience yourself in unblinking 4K high definition. Meanwhile, everyone else, they just experience you as, passing scenery. You're just one object among thousands moving through the background of their day. But your brain quietly makes this very reasonable yet entirely incorrect assumption. It tells you, hey, if this moment feels absolutely huge to me, it must feel huge to everybody else. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the scientific term for it, egocentric bias. And I know when we hear egocentric, we immediately think it means someone is selfish or narcissistic. But actually, scratch that. It isn't about ego at all. It is purely computational. Your brain only has direct hardwired access to exactly one human being. And that's you. So it simply uses you as the reference point for everybody else. It's quite literally projecting your internal volume out onto the rest of the world. But to truly understand why this spotlight feels so blindingly bright, we have to peel back another layer: biology. You see, your brain is old, like really, really old. If we zoom out thousands of years, for the vast majority of human history, we lived in these tiny, tight-knit primitive tribes. And in that environment, being rejected by the group wasn't just sad. It could literally mean physical danger. Losing social status mattered. Looking foolish mattered. Because back then, if enough people disliked you and you got cast out, your chances of survival completely plummeted. So evolution basically built us a brain that pays extreme, hyper-focused attention to social signals. It was far better to completely overreact to a social mistake and survive than to underreact and, become tiger statistics. And that internal alarm system, it worked beautifully out on the ancient plains, until, of course, modern life happened. Today, your ancient brain is still treating social attention as a matter of literal life and death. Except now, instead of worrying if your core tribe accepts you so you won't starve, your brain is initiating a full-blown panic sequence just worrying if 12 strangers at a bus stop noticed your shoelace untie. Your nervous system literally cannot tell the difference. Embarrassment triggers stress. Your attention immediately narrows, your memory of the event gets stronger, and your body reacts like something vital just went wrong. And science has actually tested this mismatch. It's amazing. In these super famous psychological experiments, researchers had people wear highly embarrassing clothing. Think of like a really bright, cringeworthy t-shirt, and then ask them to predict how many people in a room would actually notice. Their estimates of who would care were dramatically, wildly higher than the reality. People simply paid way, way less attention than the participants expected. And it's not because humans are cold or uncaring, not at all. It's simply because other humans are totally occupied with their own internal lives. Which leads us to another really fascinating layer, culture. This whole phenomenon kind of changes its flavor depending on where and how you grow up. In highly individualistic societies, people are often sweating under the spotlight, thinking, do people think I'm interesting? Am I successful? Am I unique? But in more collective cultures, that exact same spotlight asks totally different questions. Did I embarrass myself? Did I stand out way too much? Did I just inconvenience others? The specific fears we have completely change based on our culture. But the underlying mechanism, that giant, heavy, invisible spotlight, it remains exactly the same. We are all just constantly imagining invisible audiences. Let's move to and see how this builds when we introduce the modern era, the internet, which honestly for our ancient brains was quite unfortunate because social media quietly created an environment that humans were absolutely never biologically designed to handle. Persistent visibility. For most of human history, embarrassment just naturally expired. You said something weird, people eventually forgot about it, and life moved on. But now your brain is living in a digital landscape where attention feels totally permanent and completely recorded. Just think about the sheer scale of this for a second. You post something online and just 20 people see it. 20. But your nervous system violently reacts as if you just stood on a balcony and gave a speech to all of human civilization. Your brain starts imagining your coworkers, your friends, family, future employers, completely random strangers, people who literally never thought about you in the first place, all judging you at once. The internet didn't invent the spotlight effect, it just scaled it up. Modern life quietly encourages us to optimize profiles and curate our personalities, which makes us feel like we're constantly being watched, even when absolutely nobody is looking. So let's bring the camera back down to the micro level. Let's check back in with Kevin. It's exactly 1 week later. Kevin is out on the badminton court just trying to enjoy his Sunday. He jumps up for a shot. He totally misses. And he trips again. Instantly, those ancient alarms sound off. His brain immediately prepares its emergency embarrassment procedures. The frantic calculations begin. The blinding spotlight flashes on. But then Kevin stops. He actually looks around the court, and he notices something really profound. Nobody reacts. One friend is totally absorbed checking his phone. Another is actively arguing about where to get dinner. Someone else on the next court over just missed their own shot and is glaring at their racket like it personally betrayed them. Life is just continuing. And Kevin suddenly realizes something incredible. Nobody remembered his trip from last week, and nobody cares about this one either. Not because people are cruel, but because everybody else is also Kevin. Everyone believes they are under observation. Everyone assumes their mistakes are permanent. Everyone is busy carrying around their own incredibly heavy, invisible spotlight. So Kevin laughs. He just laughs at his mistake, picks up his racket, and keeps playing. He misses another shot, and he just laughs again. And for the first time in a very long time, his embarrassment simply expires. He's discovered this strange, quiet freedom, hidden deep inside the spotlight effect. Psychology tells us your brain exaggerates attention. Biology says your brain evolved for survival. Culture says being seen really matters. And the internet, well, it turned it all into a lifestyle. But reality is far, far quieter than your imagination. People are not thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. So the crucial point is this. Most of our embarrassing moments are not these giant historical monuments. They are not permanent records etched in stone. They are just tiny, fleeting notifications in somebody else's mind. And just like notifications on a phone, most people are just going to quickly swipe them away so they can get back to their own lives. Which I know sounds a little disappointing at first, right? Until you realize what it actually means. It means you're free. You're entirely free to ask stupid questions, you're free to try things and be terrible at them, free to make strange art, free to fail, free to just exist imperfectly out there in the world. So if your brain is currently whispering to you that people are going to judge you for what you like or what you engage with, well, congratulations. That is just the spotlight effect trying to trick your ancient brain all over again. You are completely free to just swipe that notification away.